we are live. I'm so excited to have you here, Suze. We go way back. You're also like a friend, former colleague, and also I'm really happy that we're having this conversation. Obviously, your career journey has been one that has been very, very dynamic. So, if it had a song, what would that theme and why?
Woo, okay. Can I have two? Okay, no, I'll say the one that comes to mind. Probably Level Up by Sierra. And it's quite funny because I don't know all the lyrics. I just know that it repeats level up, level up, level up over and over again. And I think that is exactly how I would describe my journey. I think I've been very intentional, though I've taken different routes to get there. So yeah, we just keep on rising.
I love that. And honestly, your LinkedIn profile actually shows leveling up. I'm so curious about the second song as well.
You know what? It's all about resilience, but it would be Break My Soul by Beyonce. And I say that just because it's more of like a looking in the mirror. I think that it's very normal to experience challenges and roadblocks. And I think it's just about, yeah, just continuing and being determined and not giving up. So yes, my career journey has been a journey, but I have persevered.
Awesome. I love those two. They actually complement each other. Like the more you level up, the more your soul is also tested. So awesome. And then another thing I'm really curious about, because obviously right now you've been actually involved in, shaping, talent strategies for all kinds of levels, right? Like early career, late stage, executive, and so on. Do you feel like there is anything companies need to start doing or to even stop doing in order to attract and retain?
Yeah, you know what? I think it's always hard, but I think the first thing that comes to mind is to be open. This is an entirely different generation. We all come from different generations, and I think I have definitely learned and can see that you just have to be open to new ways of doing things. You've got to be prepared to listen to what people actually want. I think Gen Z is not far away from either of our generations, but I can definitely see that they want probably different things than I did at the start of my career, and they have different expectations. And I think that it's actually quite empowering as well. I think that, yeah, organizations just need to just move with the times and try and adapt and adjust where they can, whether that's through their processes or what they offer in terms of benefits or even just ways of working. Different world events have meant that we all have different preferences now about how we like to work or where we like to work. And I definitely see some synergy between the two things. So I think that in order to retain and attract talent, we have to kind of be flexible about, yeah, all of those things.
Yeah, I like that. And you're right, it does apply to all talent. Obviously, Gen Z has also paved the way for a lot of improvements, I think, in the work. So we can also learn a lot. And speaking of world events, actually, obviously, we now work remotely. So we've seen a lot of companies shifting to the hybrid way of working or even totally remote way of working. And obviously, this means that like the different expectations from candidates, from employees, and so on. So how do you feel companies are adapting to candidate expectations or employee expectations?
Yeah, I've got to be honest. I think it's a mixed bag. I mean, in Australia, it's very different. I would definitely say that I guess we're more prideful about wanting to re engage more quickly into being in the office, being on site. But I really do think it's more about collaboration, getting things done. I am also seeing a lot of conversations continuing very regularly, of course, on platforms like LinkedIn around productivity. And so, really, maybe what the conversation needs to be about is enablement, tools and enablement. So, eliminating things around trust. I don't think that that's the conversation we're having right now. I think it's about what tools we're equipping teams with to work more agile. And I say this especially where, many of us, particularly in the TA space, are working in roles that are very time demanding. There's a lot of things to manage. And sometimes I think the phrase I see often on social media is it could have been an email. So what can we do to actually ensure that we're getting more out of our work weeks? I don't think anybody wants to do less, but how can we have a hybrid way of working, whether it's remote meetings, walking catch ups, lunch and learns, and maybe just having set days around, in person meetings so that we can still get all the work done that we need to during the week. I think that's definitely where my head is at the moment is, with all the demands that I place on my team, how can I ensure that there's some variety, some fluidity, and also notwithstanding the fact that people have commitments, people have personal lives, children. So how can we just be considerate about, I think, the fact that in this day and age, many people also really just want to have more time to have a bit of balance as well.
Yeah, I like that. And I think one thing that stood out to me from what you said is trust, because I think it's really shown us the true meaning of trust, right? Because in the past, it's like, yeah, you trust your team, but we're all here in the office, we're all seeing each other. But now you actually have to exercise trust that people are getting the job done. And for yourself, you are a manager of a team. And of course, I know a lot of your team is in Australia, so you're in the same time zone, same place. But like
Yes.
you said earlier that you do have, hybrid ways of working. So, making sure that you know that people are getting the job done, but you're also able to still empower them, right? Awesome. I love this conversation. I wish we could go longer.